Alright guys, I want to share with you a pretty cool looking watch in my opinion, and I think many of you guys will like it too. Unfortunately, I hate doing this to you because you really can't get these anymore. They occasionally will pop up like in watch groups, forums, or even on eBay. And if you can find a good deal on one and you are good with quartz watches, which most of us are, these kind of present a really cool value. Let's talk about the size real quick, and then we'll do some close-ups and we'll look at the features of it. So before we get started, I guess, on that, we'll even talk about what this is. This is the Seiko sna749p2, and this is the. Let me get the minute hand out of the way here. This is the Seiko F1 Honda Racing Sportura, if I can say that right. So size-wise, it's a little bit wide. If I measure from here to here, it is like 43.7 millimeter. And then I did a measurement basically from here to here for the lug to lug. Now, I know those are going to turn down a lot, so you're going to get some really good wrist wrap. So it's a little misleading, this measurement here, but this is a 50 millimeter. And the reason I measured there is because the end link here is a 22 millimeter. So you could take that spring bar out and you could put a different strap or NATO or something like that in there. I suspect you could make that work. It's much wider up here, but this is 22 mil, and they actually make a strap that goes in and replaces these bars here, and then the strap goes here, and I think it's a rubber strap, because you could buy this watch with that, or you could buy it, the bracelet one, and then buy the strap extra. So whether you, I prefer the metal, but the strap would be nice too, I guess, sometimes. So I guess lug to width here at this point would be 22, but your lugs basically kind of articulate, if that makes sense. So you can get the bracelet to lay almost flat on the back with that, but because they curve, it's still really comfortable. Thickness is only 10.35 millimeter, and that is a nice sapphire crystal there as well. Maybe even some anti-reflective coating. I can't tell exactly, but it does look really good, clear. So fold over clasp, it's milled out there, stamped here. You get 3 micro adjust double pushers. You can see this one's, got some wear on it. The case back, Seiko F1 Honda Racing Team. It'll also have the information there about the movement and the sapphire crystal. The movement is a 7T62 quartz chronograph movement. I could not find any specific information regarding the how many they made, like how limited they possibly are. But you can see on the dial there, you have a nice applied Seiko logo. The rest of it's mostly printed. You have applied indices that almost look, white. They do have lume. I'll give you a lume shot at the end, with a little bit of red outline all the way around them. And then, of course, you have your seconds counter over here at the 9 o'clock. At the 6 o'clock mark, you have a subdial that will be an alarm. I didn't play with the alarm, but I know some people like to have those. And then at the top, you're going to have your 60-minute counter for your chronograph. So you can just push that. Your red skeletonized with cut out circles of the seconds hand, and also the red minute counter for your chronograph feature is also skeletonized with circles cut out of it. So really nice pop of color on there. You have your tachymeter on the outside here. It's also metal, screwed down, I think, and there's actually even like a little bit of a gap in between the case and that bezel. Really cool, almost like, I don't want to say fluted, but, and then it filled in with the red enamel and all those. And then you did hopefully notice that that is a screw down crown. Not a ton of threads in that though. It like goes like 1-2 turns and boom, it's in. That's it. So it has a 10 bar water resist, and as that chronograph hand comes around to the 60, you're going to see that top register move 1 click. So it was kind of shielded there, and then the reset on it is, you pause it and then you can just reset it, snaps back around nice and smooth. So let me give you a wrist shot. Super comfortable on wrist. Big thanks to Christian for lending this in. He lent in a couple of watches actually, but because it is so thin and because this part here wraps nice around the wrist, I mean, it just hugs the wrist. I really wish they would make more of these, because this is, I mean, Seiko has a knack for just making watches that look great and feel great on wrist, even though sometimes the measurements would not lead you to believe that's the case. Going to be super accurate with that quartz movement. I didn't also, again, I don't know the battery life on it. I would imagine if you don't mess with the chronograph a ton, you're probably going to get 3 to 5 years out of the battery. So it should be pretty easy battery change. Unscrew that case back, change out the battery, and then, of course, make sure you lube the gasket to keep that water resistance and screw that thing back in. So pretty cool watch. I'm going to give you a lume shot here. Actually, you know what I could do? Just for size comparison so you guys can kind of see. Here it is next to a Seiko Turtle. So pretty interesting sizing. But because it is so thin, it just wears great. And I could see this easily being kind of a car enthusiast, race-inspired type watch to add to your collection with that F1 Honda Racing. They've done a bunch of different models in collaboration with some F1 teams, and certainly with the Honda one, but this is the first one I've had on the channel, and I like this one very much. So if price-wise, if you can find them, I think they range anywhere from $200 to $500 depending on condition and full kit and all that stuff. So still pretty good value, you know, considering it's a great looking watch. It's limited to some extent. I'm not sure how many they made. I thought I read one little article that said something around 700, so I'm not sure the exact number, but they didn't number it on the back of the case. So I wish more companies would do that. Of course, you do have Seiko lume. It's not going to be like diver lume or anything like that, but it's still the really good, powerful lume. It's just not a ton of it on the dial, but it's more than adequate, I think. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Christian for lending this in, and I will see you on the next video.